Hey everyone, it's Kevin. In today's video, I'm going to tell you what to expect during bulimia recovery. If you haven't already, hit the subscribe button. And don't forget to check out some of my free resources below. If you want to speak with me directly, there is also a link in the description box. What should you expect in bulimia recovery? It's a really good question. I will say this, it's not going to go the way you expected. We always think we know how things are going to turn out. When we start a business, when we run an ad, when we start any new venture, or when we start a family, we think, oh, this is the way it's going to go. The truth is, things never go the way we expect them. Welcome to life. ED recovery, bulimia recovery, it's no different. But there are some things that you should expect, some things that everybody experiences. I can tell you some things that you should expect, but I can't tell you how it's going to go down. Everybody's recovery is different. I think I'm just going to start there. Everybody's recovery is different. It might take you longer to recover, it might take you shorter to recover. In physical therapy, my patients ask me, how long should it take me to recover from the surgery? Well, I don't know. I really don't know because everybody's different. Everybody's on a bell curve. Some people go faster, some people go slower, and that's okay. What you should do is focus on yourself and focus on what you should do. You can do things to accelerate your recovery. You can do things that slow down your recovery. Ultimately, recovery is your choice. Just as relapse is a choice, so is recovery. Stay on your task, focus on what you can do. The next thing you should expect is residual effects. Residual effects are those habits that you acquired during your ED. That can include weighing food, tracking food obsessively, counting calories and macros. It could be body scanning, body checking, weighing yourself multiple times a day. I don't know. You acquired some really bad habits on the way. Now, these bad habits aren't crippling. They're not necessarily indicative of an ED, but they usually come with it. Where there's smoke, there's fire. All right, I have some baby carrots right here. This is the big 2-pound bag, and a serving size is, let's see, 3 ounces, which is 85 grams. You can see it right there. So I'm going to weigh my carrots. Okay, if I want the exact amount, I'm gonna have to weigh it. So there we go. 18, 30, that's about an ounce. A few more. Keep going. 67. Okay, we're almost there. Let's see, let's get right on the money. That's 91, so that's a little too much. So I'm gonna take out that. And then I literally used to do this, guys, and it's such a waste of time. So I have to find a really small carrot just to get to 85. Let's see. It is, no, we're still a little over. So I'm gonna take out the big one and then let's see it again. So 84, I think that's gonna be a winning ticket. So I could break one of these little carrots here and put it on the scale and then it would be exactly 85. But it's such a waste of time, and I remember doing this, even weighing my red peppers and my carrots. It just didn't really make a difference in the end. That's why I stopped doing it. I don't really weigh my food. I still have a scale. Once in a while it comes in handy, but I don't weigh my oats. I don't weigh fruits and vegetables. I just don't have the patience for it anymore. So that is how you weigh food. That's how you weigh vegetables and fruit. Okay, now it's like 84, 85. But I used to do this and it was a total waste of my time. It didn't make a difference. I used to weigh red peppers and carrots and everything, and it took so much time, and I don't think it made me healthier, but I had to know exactly what I was eating. I still use a food scale once in a while and I keep it. It's a good device. I only got it for $30 and it's lasted me over 5 years. But most of the time, I don't use it. Most of the time, I don't use it because I don't want to have to measure everything. If I need to be exact, then I'll use it. Stopping these bad habits shouldn't be your #1 priority, but you should make it a goal. So even if you've stopped binging and purging, you still might have these bad habits. And these bad habits might last a while. They could last months, maybe even years. I counted calories and still weighed food several years after I recovered. Don't think that just because you have these residual habits doesn't mean you're not recovered. Recovered means no episodes ever. And that's another point I want to bring up. For some people, the goal is no episodes ever. For others, it's 1 or 2 a month, and they're okay with that. It's like a recovering alcoholic who says, I'm only going to binge drink when I go to a wedding or a party, a corporate event, whatever. And that's okay with me. And you know what? That's fine. Everybody's definition of recovery is different. For most people, it's no episodes ever. Be honest with yourself. Are you okay having no episodes ever? Are you okay never having that high ever again? Are you okay that you're not going to have that rush, that you're not going to be able to numb out? For some people, that's actually too much, and that's okay. 1 episode a month is not going to kill you. But if you want no episodes ever, forever, then it might take you a little more time. It's a worthy goal to have. I'm just saying everybody's definition is different. This channel would not be possible without Essetino artists. If you want to start your YouTube channel and start producing content, then check out the Creative Business Academy. There is a link below. All right, back to the video. The next thing is you still might have urges and cravings after you have fear foods or after a large meal. If you have a really large meal, especially and your stomach is distended, it's really easy to just go to the bathroom and get rid of it. But you need to stop that as soon as possible. I've made videos about the cycle and about how to break that binge purge cycle. It's not easy, and it's always best to do it before you have a large volume of food. That's why I recommend that you have smaller portions of meals, like smaller snacks. That way you never have that temptation, that urge to get rid of it. What happens when you have a fear food or a binge food like candy? Okay, this was one of my favorites for a long time. You're gonna have those urges and cravings. Now the thing is, urges and cravings can't make you do anything. That's the good news. Bad news is they can be really uncomfortable. And how long can you resist those? How long can you overcome those? I'm not sure. But I think for a while, it's a good idea to avoid stuff like this. Not saying forever, but in those early days, first few months, you might wanna lay off that. This brings me to my next point. Abstaining from certain binge foods and fear foods for a while is a really good idea. You do not have to reincorporate everything. You never have to bring back those foods if you don't want to. Recovery doesn't mean that you have chips and candy and ice cream in your kitchen and you never eat it, or you only eat it in reasonable quantities. I'm a big fan of food freedom too, but everybody's recovery is different. And for some people, long-term abstinence is a good idea. Some people can have what I call controlled use, where they only consume it in small quantities. Great. For some people, they need to draw that bright line and just never have it again. Reincorporating these foods will take time, and it's not an overnight process. That's another good point too. This is not an overnight process. You can't snap your fingers and expect to be recovered. Recovery doesn't happen in one day. It's kind of like up and down, up and down, up and down. As long as you're going in the right direction, that's what matters. But you can't declare, you can't make a commitment. You can't just say, I am no longer going to do this. That's not how it works. You're not going to know when the beginning and the end is. It's not like driving from California to Massachusetts. You know where the beginning is and you know where the end is. You know when it starts and you know when it ends. Eating recovery isn't like that. You don't wake up one day and say, okay, that's it for my recovery. It could be months, it could be years. We don't know. Avoid the temptation to count days. I think this comes from the 12 steps, and I've made a video about 12 steps and why I don't like that. Because they're always counting the days. It's like 47, 48, 49. Well, it creates this all or nothing mentality. What happens when you have an episode after 126 days? Do you go back to 0? I argue no. Eating recovery is a process. You need to see time on a continuum. If you do have an episode, fine, get back on track as fast as you can. Your recovery isn't over at that point, and you haven't lost all your progress. Another thing you should consider is damage to your teeth. So when you're binging purging, you're introducing all of this stomach acid into the mouth, and it doesn't belong there. So I highly recommend you see a dentist. Actually, a periodontist would be better. I've had periodontal damage in the last 10 years, and I think it had to do with that because my mouth wasn't designed for it. Fortunately, gum damage is correctable to an extent, I believe. The surgeon will take a graft from the roof of your mouth and place it on your gums, and then it will start to grow. It's not cheap, it's not pleasant, but it can be done. Also consider your enamel. You might want to get some toothpaste that rebuilds your enamel. Alright guys, so I'm in my bathroom. I just wanted to show you what I use to build my enamel and protect my gums. It is this thing right here. It is Crest Gum Detoxify. So one of my dentists recommended this. You can get this at Target. So it's kind of expensive. It's like $7, but it lasts me, I don't know, 5 or 6 weeks. Really good stuff. And then in terms of a toothbrush, this is a Philips Sonicare right there. Change the head every 3 or 4 months. It's been working well for about 1.5 years now. They usually last about 4 years. But if you are bulimic or you have a history of bulimia, then it's something that you want to consider because your gums are important and you don't want to start losing your teeth. So see a periodontist as soon as you can. My next point is, at first you'll resist, then you'll contemplate, and then you finally won't do it. At first you have to use willpower and conscious thought to not do it. You have to squeeze your fists, you have to use a lot of willpower, you have to think about it, but with practice and with time you get better. Then you contemplate it. At that point it's like a coin flip. Could be yes, could be no, but you still have that civil war in your head. One part wants to do it, the other part doesn't want to do it. Which one should I do? And then eventually, after practice and with time, you just don't think about it. You have to show up, you have to risk failure, and you have to practice. It's like building any skill. You don't build a skill in one day. You don't build a skill in a weekend. You have to practice it over and over. Creating new habits is the same way, and any of these cycles is not always easy. Give it time. Remember, for most people, a few months, up to a year in some cases, is a typical recovery. Everybody's different, and I cannot predict how long yours is going to take. If I could say anything, there is no one size that fits all. I'll end this video on a good note. You can recover whenever you want. Your brain isn't broken, you're not beyond repair. Anybody who has this problem and wants to fix it is capable of fixing it. A lot of people have these same problems. A lot of people have recovered. You can too. The question is, when do you want to start? And how long is it going to take? What are some other things that you learned in your recovery? Let me know in the comments below. Hope you found this video educational and entertaining. Don't forget to subscribe and check out my free resources below. And if you liked this video, I'm sure you'll like one of the other videos that you see on the screen. Click one of them and I'll see you there.